I have this DSi LL. This is a console, a part of a junk lot that I'll be looking at possibly repairing and just testing all the components, fully disassembling them for cleaning. Looks like that poor little foot. So big problem. There's no game card slot. I mean, nothing. What the? What am I looking at? Like, okay, so I don't know anything about this console. I literally just pulled it out and put it upside down because there usually is a note on the other side. I'm not supposed to be able to see PCB. I'm supposed to be able to see a game card slot. So here happens to be a game card slot. I recently just replaced one. So I should be seeing like the black or gray plastic of the game card slot because it sits about right here. And that's what I don't see. Okay, that at least explains why one of these feet are a little chewed up. It's been pulled apart. At least it was put back together with all the feet, because those are pretty valuable to me. Let's see. Japanese yellow screen. A game card reader gone? That's my reaction. That's hilarious. Alright, it apparently powers on. I'll see how bad the screen yellowing is, because if it's bad enough, the screen yellowing, weirdly enough, has some value to me as sort of experimental. And there's no battery in it. Or it's dead. I guess I can't really tell. No battery. Alright. Water damage indicator is still good. Ooh, I never checked if I had any goodies. No goodies. This seller was no fun. I included a couple styluses, but nothing else. Holy moly! Alright. So, those screens I want to use for experimental. You could tell how yellow those were. Those were aggressive. I mean, the game card slot is gone. I do really want to see what's going on in there, but I think I might do another console. I'm just going to leave this together because I really want to run some... There are various de-yellowing experiments I want to run. Something that you can do externally to the console without pulling it apart to try and at least reduce the amount of yellowing on the console. I don't think it'll ever get to a point to where you can, like, fully revert it. I think there's just way too much physical damage to displays, but it's more... I don't really know what's going on with the display, per se. I'm just going to throw this foot away. It's a little too chewed up for what I would ever use. I mean, I could chuck it in sort of my, like, cosmetically bad but functionally good box. I just want to see what the hell is going on with this motherboard. Get my feet, put them in my pillbox full of feet and screen covers and the like. But I do have one more junk console kicking around that I can work on, so I might just end up doing that instead. I'm really curious to know just what the hell... Why is there no game card slot? I mean, whoever pulled this apart knew what they were doing. Screws look really good, and... I mean... With all the adhesive here... I'm not gonna say it hasn't been pulled apart, but, I mean, whoever pulled it apart at least was using the right tools. I'm just really curious to know what's going on here. I mean, yeah, the game card slot's just gone. The pads are still there. Huh. They left some nice little peaks of solder. That is so wild. It looks like they did a good job removing it. None of the neighboring components are damaged. I mean, I might as well just put a game card slot in. I'm this deep. Let me kind of prepare for that. That'll be a rather lengthy endeavor. I wonder if this was during the time where you just couldn't get game card slots, so this is just harvesting a game card slot off of a console and just throwing it back together and just full sending it to somebody. Just saying, deal with it. Thankfully now game card slots are available. You know, I'm almost wondering if I should take the extra effort and actually recycle this game card slot. The one I pulled off. That ended up being okay. This is a Japanese board, so I'm not exactly, like, super interested in saving it. I mean, with all the problems that come with language patchers, well, not really problems, it's just... It's not to throw shade at the person who made the language patcher, it's more what users do when they install the language patcher that makes it difficult. Yeah, whoever just removed this game card slot did a damn fine job doing it. I just don't know why. It must have been harvesting for parts, like, that's the only thing I can think of. Because these screens are basically junk. Basically junk. They might be savable. If the LCD layer is good, the liquid crystal display, at least my initial findings are saying that you can replace the actual backlight within the top screen, so let me grab a top screen. It's this little tiny, ribbon that's like bent over and soldered on the back. That's the actual backlight, and it can be separated. You have to open this entire assembly up and physically remove the backlight, replace it, pinch these back together, and solder it. It's not a horrible process unless you get dust and debris inside this housing, then it can be kind of a pain. Okay, I'm just thinking whether or not I actually want to do it. Let me grab my junk boards and just kind of see if I have enough pins that I can slot in. Where did I put my junk boards? Would it be in here? Um, it wouldn't be in there. Where on earth would I have put them? I know I had them handy recently, but I wouldn't keep them handy. There's no real point. They wouldn't make sense in here. I know they weren't in here because I would have bumped into them. They wouldn't be in here because I would see them. It's hard to hide PCBs. Found them. Alright. Okay, it looks like I just kind of have a game card slot freely sliding around in here. Bad spring. Oh, alright. I mean... No, how bad? Bad spring, what does that even mean? Looks like a note I made. Oh, it has... It's a little hard to explain. It doesn't have the same clickiness to it. Like, usually there's like a pretty good, like, clunk kind of sound to it. It's very muted. I don't think it's bad, per se, but it doesn't sound right. And I think that would bother me. Where this has a really nice click to it. I guess I can try and see if I can visualize that a little, or move that closer. Has more of a click to it. Whereas this one... Oh, let me find the mechanism in here. It doesn't. So, I mean... Nothing physically wrong with it. And I mean, what I might be able to do is put this slot on, and then I can transfer all the pins. Actually, I might as well put the pins in right now. This might be a bit of a process. And then I should be able to reassemble this as though it were like a brand new game card slot. I mean, it still looks good too, so... It's just going to be a bit of a process putting these in. Because I gotta they slide into a channel, and then there's sort of like an overhang that they slide into. And a lot of the times I'm gonna find where they're just gonna like pop out of that rear channel. I'll see if I can try and get a good visual of it. Lighting isn't the best, but just try shining it down the game card slot. I mean, no, you can kind of see it, I guess. It sort of popped up, it didn't engage into that lip. So it's just going to be... What I could do, actually, I never thought of doing this. Let me put a game card in. Just put a game card into the slot. That should introduce enough downward pressure on the pins to force it. It might introduce way too much friction, though. I'll just kind of play it by ear here. I mean, that wasn't that bad. And then it seemed to work. This is a very unconventional way of doing this, but I mean... And then I can just throw this slot away. I might still keep it because the things like the metal shielding is still good. And even like the plastic base, if I really wanted to like repair the game card slot from like nothing. And maybe even the spring is still good, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just weak, or whatever mechanism is sort of making that clunking just isn't as good. Yeah, this is going pretty well, actually. And I'm wondering if maybe just the mechanism is just like packed with like. I think I remember trying to clean this out with rubbing alcohol, just trying to see if I can get the like thunkiness back, because that's something I would have done back then. I need to be careful with the amount of pressure I'm using because I'm bending this pin. Or I bent this pin a little unnecessarily. They should bend up pretty good. It's just gonna make soldering them down, I guess, not even much more of a challenge, just a little more interesting. But if you ever needed to just replace a pin, they're very easy to replace. They're almost like, I wouldn't say modular, but they are close enough. They're not exactly plug and play. That'd be kind of a wild idea. Undo a little latch, yank out the pin. I think I still have several motherboards kicking around that just don't, or have game card slot damage, be it bent pins. That's usually bent pins. I mean, these consoles are targeting kids, and kids aren't exactly the most responsible with their stuff. I want to win in a little more, with a little more umph than usual. Required a little more umph. Well, I'm glad I was able to find a use for this game card slot so quickly. Would this be easier just to use a new game card slot? Yeah, but why would I do that? I mean, these game card slots are pretty simple. Just as long as the mechanism works. Just have to swap out all the pins. Maybe I'll eat those words when I find out this thing doesn't work, but I'm not going to want to test this motherboard inside this console. This burgundy console is going to be part of a testing lot of yellowed consoles. So I'm going to have to be careful bending these little legs coming down because they look like they would fatigue off really easily. Last pin. Okay, let's see if having the game card in helped. Hmm. I don't think it. Call me a little confused, I guess. I mean, they're in there. They're just a couple of them are like much significantly lower than the other ones. I guess trying to figure out why. Are they engaged in the pin slot? Yeah. Did they just get bent down a little when I was pushing them in? I need to see a reference. Let me put that in here. Okay, it's possible they did just get bent down a little. I think one of my dental picks are going to be pretty good at that. They look like they're sitting in the channel. So it's not that I misplaced them. I think maybe just bending them in or pushing them in sort of bent them up. And the two on the end here are sort of bent up a little further than I would like. The game card will push it down, but try and see if I can sort of bend them down to a little more acceptable height. I might not be able to really all that easily. No, I can't. Not really easily. Okay, that worked a little. Instead of pushing back on them, I'm pushing them down. I mean, that's pretty good. They should all be high enough that I don't have to really worry about them not making contact. I'll have to test this in another console just to make sure it is. Let me get rid of this foot so it doesn't get lost somewhere, and then I'll get to soldering. Rather not have that foot mix into my parts. So I need to start by removing all of this excess solder. Get a couple things out here. Let me start by getting these through holes nice and clean. Like, I mean, kudos to the person who pulled this game card slot out. They did a very good job. I'll bemoan certain things that people do to these consoles, but for harvesting a game card slot out, they did a very good job. And at least so far, I don't see anything glaring. Like, there's no, like, pads aren't ripped off. So whoever took it off knew what they were doing. So I can at least appreciate that, and I don't mind slapping another one back on. Okay, solder iron is ready. Some braid. So far, so good. Looks like I got most of these through holes completely desoldered. Okay. There's a lot of solder on some of these pins, especially those two mounting pins. Ooh, nice and shiny. My poor solder wick is just completely packed with solder. Holy. Grab a little more. Want to make sure that mounting pad is clean as best as I can. Because I'm already going to have some difficulty mounting this game card slot on with all of those game card pins that are sort of... I'm not going to call them wonky, but I mean... they might offer some resistance when I'm putting the game card slot in. Let's get this board cleaned. Or at least sort of Q-tip off some of the... I need to get more alcohol. Q-tip off some of the flux. Yeah, whoever took off this game card slot definitely left it in a state that can be repaired, and I'm very pleased with that. Okay, I think I'm good to just pop this guy on. I'm wondering if I need to remove some solder from this, actually. Hang on. Those through-hole legs have a bit of solder I'll recycle my little solder wick that I just chucked. Or I mean, that works too. I can just sort of shuffle it up the slot a little. Okay. Keep this handy. Making sure, I need to grab a sort of a reference here. There's a little bit of a gap. I'm just making sure it's sitting flush. And that when I uninstalled it the first time, I kind of pried it off, so I'm just making sure it's not bent, which it looks fine. It's sitting sort of, because there's like a tiny bit of a, there's like an itty bitty gap where it sits above the PCB. At least this metal shielding is, but it seems to be normal. But I'm gonna get this mounting pin going. There should be enough solder on it that I can at least just get it to stick to the board while I put pressure on it. Okay, it's not much, but it's enough just to hold it there. I do the other side. The other side has a lot more solder on it. And that might be part of my problem, is there's maybe a little bit of solder on the underside of this leg. And yes, it does get warm. There. That's on there good. Now I can get these through-hole pins on. I might be able to actually use my clamp for this. Nah, I'm just gonna get flux on my clamp. I don't want to do that. I'll just pinch it. I am gonna have to get some more solder though. Okay, it's at least on there. That's all I needed it to do, so now I can fill it in. Cool. Get all these legs on. Get these two pins over here as well. Okay. This other mounting pin already had a lot of solder on it from when I took it out the first time. So now it's just doing the game card pins. I'm gonna grab my microscope for that so I can see it. Oh, and the microscope offers a little bit of light, like pointed light towards it as well. Plus I'll get to see how my pin slotting job looked. Making sure all of those are nice and aligned. Like, that one got a little wonky. Make sure they're pushed in all the way. Some of them aren't. I don't know why this one isn't going in anymore. May have to pull it out. And what I mean by it is the one on the very end. So let me yank it out. See if I can with a pair of tweezers. I'm gonna put a game card back in. Maybe just that's how far it goes. I can't seem to get it to go in anymore. No, it does look like it goes in just a touch more. Or I might just be seeing things. It wouldn't make sense for it not to go in more. Kind of my guess. Oh, I think I got it actually. Okay. Alright, well, I think I can start soldering everything in. I think I still have enough solder on this iron that I can use. This last one's going to be a ground pin. Or a neutral pin, so it's going to take a lot of heat. I think I got it. Good enough, at least. It's attached. Oh god, hello. I have a stack of screens that I probably need to get rid of, or at least sort amongst my screens. Okay, so let's get this cleaned off real good. Really, really, really good. Give everything a nice alcohol bath. Definitely want to spend extra time cleaning it. Because those pins that I was yanking out of that game card slot had some residual flux on it. I didn't want to individually clean off those pins because that would have been kind of a pain. And I knew I was just going to get flux everywhere anyway when I did this, so instead of trying to clean them all individually only to re-dirty them, I'm just wait until the very end. And you know what? That went very well. I was able to recycle a game 2 or a Frankenstein 2 game card slots together to make a functional one. And I mean, I say that without testing it because I have no reason to doubt it. Not in sort of like a puff out my chest and hey, look at how well I did way, but game card slots are pretty simple. As long as the ejection mechanism works and the pins are high enough to make contact with the game card slot, they'll work. There ain't no rocket science about it. I will, of course, need to test it, but... Oh no! That pin I was having problems with didn't go into its channel. It's poking out. And, of course, my lighting will not facilitate very good viewing of it. But it popped out of its, like, rear channel, which was what I was kind of, worried about what happened. I didn't even check it. I thought the game card was doing a good enough job keeping it down. I'm gonna have to take that pin out and sort of get it back in its channel. Of course, it's the ground one. The one that's not only hardest to reach, but takes the most heat to take off. Alright, well, let's try this again. It's gonna be kind of difficult. I'll try and see if I can get my pick in there to hold it down while I slide it in. No. Oh, I guess my microscope will be a good way to see it. Get a better angle. See, it kind of popped out. That little piece is poking up. Looks like that pin needs to be bent up a little more too. I wonder if something's like stuck in there or something. Preventing it from going in its channel. I think I got it. A little hard to say. I did have to bend it a little, so I did bend it down. Should bend up though. I do want to make it secure though. Said though a lot. Just so it doesn't pop out on me when I try and bend it. I should do it. Yeah, those look pretty good. I mean, for kind of winging it on a lot of these pins. Some are a little higher than others, but I mean, maybe that one could be bent up just a touch. I think I kind of overdid it on that one a little. Yeah, I think now that's good. Gonna look at them now. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Again, I won't really know until I do a game card slot test on it. But I'm fairly happy with the outcome so far. And if there is problems, I'll address them. I want to make sure all of these pins are nice and clean. I'll do a slot cleaning on it with a game card here. I want to get all the flux off. Brush, brush, here we are. Just in case I got any flux on any nearby components or if there's anything I can't reach. But I am pleased. I'm very pleased. And if it doesn't work, worst comes to worst, I just replace it with a new slot. I mean, it was worth trying to recycle it. So for the game card slot cleaning, I'll just get a game card. I'll coat the pins very liberally, because it's not inside of a console. And then just take it out and put it in. I'm just slamming it against the table so it's shaking everything. But, I mean, I'm gonna do it a couple times, just to make sure it's like really flushed out. Like I said, there was some flux on those pins when I took them out of the old game card slot, so I just want to make sure it's all nice and... Ooh, that rubbing alcohol found a cut on my finger. Yikes. Ouch. Little slice right there. That feels good. Okay. I do need to take notes on this console. So this came out of a shell. Burgundy DSi LL 101808284. Motherboard serial number 183160120 U01E22J A08. Game card slot missing. Placed with recycled slot and pins. I'll just say untested due to yellow screens. Screens for testing. No, I'll just say for yellowed screens. I would kind of know what I mean. It's a Japanese motherboard, and I do need to have a complete console in order to test it, so I will just put it back together and put it in my testing lot. It's really all I can do with this console right now. I can't test it as much as I would have liked to. Still a little wet from the rubbing alcohol. I used quite a bit. Just flapping it off screen. Let some centrifugal force take away the rest of the rubbing alcohol. 91%, so it'll dry fairly quickly. I just used a ton. Alright, good enough. Get it all reassembled for experimental testing that I hope to eventually do at one point. I just haven't gotten the motivation to put together an experimental protocol, write up all of the information I need, establish a testing area, and sort of really like thoroughly outline what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and stuff of that sort. The burgundy shell looks like it's still in pretty good shape. I didn't really look at the glossy side too closely. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not bad at all. It's kind of the perk of these yellowed consoles is my understanding is they've just been sitting for so long. Somebody picks them up, turns it on, and goes, oh god, and then immediately sells it. Because thankfully, from what I understand, screen yellowing and sort of damage due to age are two sort of separate phenomena. So these screens could be perfectly fine. It's just their backlight's yellowed, however, in whatever capacity that means. I should probably clean off these tweezers before I handle ribbon cables, but they're not that tacky. Usually I'll feel them when I sort of clasp them together, and they kind of stick. Get the camera in. And then I suppose I can just do my other console. I have a bronze one down there. My last one. It'll be nice to get these done so I can get this box out of my way. Why are you doing that? Huh, alright. Weird. I wonder if I was gonna say, I wonder if I mounted that game card slot wrong, but maybe I did, just maybe slightly. Like a half millimeter, fraction of a millimeter higher than usual. Wow, that was... There's these little plastic clips that sort of snap together. This is a little more aggressive than usual. Hello? Let me take this off. Something about this back shell isn't fitting right. I hope it's not my game card slot job that's creating this, because that would be a bit unfortunate. Or I wonder if those clips are broken. I mean, I'm not the first one who's pried this thing open. I mean... hang on, I think they are broken. Or maybe I'm just... No, because the clips I'm looking for are right here. Okay. Can I clip these things in first? Just this one, like, center clip isn't wanting to clip in for reasons I don't quite understand. But the rest of it goes back together pretty nicely. It's really strange. Why you be like this? There it goes. Huh. Looks like this shell took an impact right here. The plastic's a little distorted. It has this, like, weird, like, lip to it. Interesting. Oh well, I will partially blame that on the game card slot. That's really the only thing that makes sense to me. But I also haven't... I'm not the first one inside this thing. So, I mean, it could be an... But I can't exactly pick anything obvious, so I'm just gonna say that maybe I didn't mount that game card slot as close to the motherboard as I expected. It's weird that it manifests back here, but I guess if it were at an angle, it would sort of... It pushing up on the shell would sort of magnify the issue over distance. Or intensify or exponentially impact over a distance. But, I don't have any other concerns about the shell that would warrant me needing to address that game card slot if it even is the problem. It looks fine. Mounted it as snugly to the board as I physically could. But anyway, this is now a yellow screen tester console that will go into a lot of other consoles. What I actually should do is turn it on really quickly. I need to limit how long the screen is on, but I just want to make sure that it will read a game card. So I'll get a game card handy, slot it in. Look at that. That is so bad. Yeah, I see Mario Kart. Good enough. Game card slot works. Like, I think the next test I want to do with yellowed screens is to leave them on. There's a program that a smart person has made that you can have the LCD displays active, but disable the backlight. That would be an interesting test, because their theory is it's something about the blue subpixel needing to wake up, so to speak. I don't exactly know what that means. That just seems a little too non-scientific, I guess. It doesn't make sense in my understanding of electrical engineering. Like, why would like you have to warm it up or something? I don't understand. Another thing I was maybe thinking is shining a UV light on the screen. If it's like yellowing plastics of like old SNESs. Or even applying heat to it, like taking it out, heat gunning the back of the screen. Probably not while it's on, but just sort of heating it up so it's kind of hot to the touch to see if that does anything. Because at this point, these screens are mostly garbage. I mean, like I was saying, I could replace the backlights and make them usable, but I'm more interested in trying to figure out if there's sort of a topical way of fixing the yellowing without having to pull them apart and replace the backlights, because that would require you having a junk screen around. Anyway, that'll be it for this console.